What's up guys, Anthony here with Empire Music at empiremusic.com. Showing off kind of a bass that's been around for a while. I don't think we've ever had this in the store as far as like new stock. I know kind of a brief story there. Oh, before I get too far ahead of myself, which is easy to do for me if you know me. I like to talk. The Nate Mendel Signature Precision Bass from Fender. I own one of these basses. If you've ever seen me play on like a heavier gig or something that I need a little extra oomph, so to speak, out of a bass, this is my guy, and kind of an interesting story as to how I fell into that. So, like I said, it's the first time we've had one in the store as far as like A stock stuff. So meaning like fresh from Fender. We got three, I think, in maybe a year or two ago, or it was over a year, so probably 2 years ago, on like some B stock stuff. So occasionally from Fender, we'll get B stock guitars. If you've been on our website, you've seen them before, or you might have called us on them. Meaning, like, you know, since they sell direct, shame on them, tisk tisk, selling direct Fender. Come to the shop, talk to guys like myself, Todd, Joe, Justin, and buy from us. But, you know, if they get a return, or if there's like a little factory blem on there, you still get a new guitar, but it's labeled as B stock. So like 2 years ago, we got a shipment in, and I've always loved Scott's bass lessons, and Scott Devine on there for a while was playing one of these Nate Mendel signature basses, and I always liked the way it sounded. And I don't know if his was totally stock or not, it doesn't really matter. So when these came in, I opened up a box thinking like, oh, I just want to check one out. And this is like a really good example of why you should never discredit or discount a bass in your head as far as like, would you like it or not? Because on paper, I wouldn't think I'd like this bass. It's kind of more of a rock bass. It's got some specs in it that I'll dive into that I don't think again, never thought I would like, down to the pickup type, the body type, the width at the nut, the fretboard radius, which if I've talked to you before, it's never a big deal to me, but I tend to like a 9.5, and this is 7 1/4. But as soon as I played it, I just really connected with the bass. It's the same way I bought my custom shop bass, my 58P bass. It's the same way I kind of fell into this. So it's like, play something. You, on paper, it might not be the thing for you. And I say this to people with acoustic guitars all the time too. You know, you read the specs and you deep dive in forums and, you know, YouTube videos, much like our own. And you think like, I'd never like that bass, or that's the perfect bass or guitar for me. But then you play it and you might love it even though you didn't think you would, or you might hate it even though you think it might be the perfect thing for you. So kind of my sage advice is play it, never just totally discredit it or write it off as something you wouldn't dig. Because again, like I said, on paper, this wouldn't be the bass for me. And other than my custom shop, it's my favorite thing to play. And even there's certain gigs where I'd rather have this than my custom shop. Sorry, I'm being long-winded there, but you know, the little lesson learned in there. So into some of the specs, all of which I like but didn't think I would. So we have an ash body, not generally something that I like. I like an alder body more than an ash body. This has it, I still love it. High mass bridge, which is never a big deal to me, but it's nice to have on there. Adds a little extra weight to it, but so what? Zinc saddles. The big thing I did not think I would like, Seymour Duncan 1/4 pounder pickup. Giant pole pieces in there, high output, something that when I'm playing against like high gain guitars on a gig, it's perfect to cut through that stuff. Where my custom shop with like the underwound, kind of like the 62 pickup in there, tends to be a little weaker when it's just trying to fight against like high gain stuff. It's great on softer funk stuff or R&B stuff. But when I'm fighting loud drums, loud guitars, this is the perfect pickup for it. 7 1/4 radius on the fretboard, which is kind of whatever it is. I didn't think I'd like it, but I do. Slim C neck though. I always liked a thicker neck after using my custom shop with like a 50s V on it, where this is really comfortable. The biggest thing was I like that wider nut width, and this is 1.615. So this is actually slimmer, very slightly slimmer than the modern P profile. Again, all these things were screaming at me, that's not the bass for you, Anthony. It's not the bass. I played it. I played 5 minutes on it, and I just bought it because I loved it, and I continue to love it. Perfect with round wounds, or like I save flats for my custom shop. So killer bass, near and dear to my heart. Like I said, I own one. Kind of a one-trick pony, but like I said with a P bass, it's the best trick. So really throaty. And another thing, when I always talk about responsiveness out of a bass, it's not the most responsive P bass, because I tend to find like the underwound pickups are more responsive to my touch for when I dig in or I don't dig in. This doesn't get that thwonkiness that I always talk about as easy as an underwound pickup. We'll kind of see what I mean there. So full volume, full tone. Actually, I'm going to roll some tone off because this thing was a little bit bright. I'll give you kind of an example of that. So yeah, how bright that kind of is. I'm going to roll that back a little bit. Just a touch, like 95. You see what I mean there? Like, typically when I dig, for me, I like a note to really compress. This doesn't necessarily do that as much as, like I said, like an underwound pickup would, but in the right situation, it's just a really dynamite bass for that. So kind of like, again, like opposite of what I thought I would like. Same thing with the pick. A bit of tone even back a ways now. So we're going about 50% tone. A little more than that. Can't get it right. They're about 70 actually. You'll notice there too, kind of forget again, because I play this bass a lot, but not necessarily in like demo purposes. Now we're taking some of that top end bite off of that hotter pickup, starting to get a little bit more into a little vintagier, is that a word? Well, it is now, where I kind of like it. So we get a little bit more of that. We're kind of faking our way into that compressed kind of thing when you dig in. Especially down there on the A string. else to say, man? Great sounding bass, especially when you roll some of that tone back on it. The signature Nate Mendel P bass. Oh, and this is kind of based off of Nate's like early 70s P bass. That's kind of what they like, the cool kind of road worn finish on this. You kind of see it looks like the neck was taken off a few times. That's natural when you get it, so it has that road worn finish on it. And there's a nitro finish on it too, so it lets it breathe. It's also going to wear a little bit better as you go. Mine definitely has too. I know the one that I've played a lot of gigs on it, and especially like heavier gigs where I'm kind of like sweating more and the neck's worn considerably over 2 years on it. So super cool basses, like Mexican made. I love these things. Heel adjust truss rod in there. So all the vintage specs on it. Again, the Nate Mendel bass from Fender. I own one. I love it. We have a few in stock right now. Give me a call at the shop, 412-343-5299. You can email me directly. It's anthony@empiremusic.com. Free shipping, pro setup on everything. Anything you need, reach out. Thanks, guys.